Welcome back to Rivals in the Booth. I'm your host, Kyle Holton. This is my co host, John Michael Roberts. John, got a lot to talk about this week,
Yes, we
man. A
do.
lot going on in college football. Week
Week
six,
six.
sorry. That was our fifth episode. So, week five. A new look here on Rivals in the Booth. Now we have video. So, this is cool. We're going to be posting some clips, some hot takes, maybe. Definitely trivia of what we got, see how bad our ball knowledge is. So, yeah. John, speaking of trivia, let's go ahead and pop right into that. What's your trivia question for me this week?
Okay, my trivia question for you is Alabama's playing Missouri. So I want you to name. I'm gonna give you some trivia about Missouri. I want you to name me
Okay.
the top five passers in their school's history.
Hey, Drew Lock.
Yep, he's number two.
Dude, I am blanking on their quarterbacks right now. I can only think of Drew Lock, and the only reason I can think of that is because of the edit of him singing on "Put On for My City."
Another one
Um,
is has played in the 2020s decade.
2020s decade. Dude, why am I blanking on their names? Uh, um, Dude, I can't think of the guy that played last year, but he passed. I know it's him. He's got to be on there. He passed to Luther Burden, and
Yep.
they're tied in. He's got.
Yeah, that's
What's his
him.
name?
Uh,
Dude, I cannot think of his name. Oh my gosh.
okay, I'm gonna give you a hint, and hopefully this helps you lead you in the right way. If you're making food, what are you doing?
Cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, something Cook. Brady Cook.
Boom. There you go.
Yes. Okay, so Brady Cook,
Yep, that's number
Drew
three.
Lock. Where are they? Okay. Where's Drew Lock at? Number one?
Two.
Okay, he's
Uh,
number two. Okay, so number one. Do I know number one? Would I?
um, I recognize him more with his time in the NFL,
That's what I
but
was thinking. I was like, they have another NFL quarterback.
exactly.
He was
Um,
mostly, but
he
he's mostly
was,
backup.
yeah,
No,
he's mostly a backup, but when he was at Missouri, led them to their highest finish in the AP poll ever.
which was number.
They were at the season end they were number four, but at one point they were number one.
Four. Yeah, right. And that was 2013.
2007.
Dang, I'm way off.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
It was
then
2013. I'm thinking of the
when they made
defensive
the
tackle
SEC
they
title
had.
game. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. And
Um,
let me give
Made
you
the
some.
SEC title
Yeah,
game.
let me give you some hints about his NFL career.
Yeah.
So he was drafted in 2010 to the New Orleans
Okay.
Saints, and was Drew Brees' backup till 2017. Then he went to Kansas City. Then he goes to Philadelphia. Then Chicago for 2018-19 for a frame of reference. The Lions in 2022, and then his last 2 years he was with the Chargers.
Okay. I thought I had him, and then you said the Lions, and that really threw me off. I was thinking of guys that went from the Saints to the Chiefs. So was he a backup with the Chiefs? Because that would have been Mahomes' first year,
Well, when
but
he was in Kansas City,
went.
it was pre-Mahomes. This is the Alex Smith era.
That's what, okay. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the other
I was
thing.
looking at his on Pro Football Reference. It said Saints 2010 to 2017, but apparently he had two stints with them. That's my fault. I miscommunicated that.
Okay.
So
No,
he was
no
with the
worries.
Saints till 2012, then signed with Kansas City, and eventually came back for the 2017 season. Um,
And then you said he ended out his career with the Chargers.
yes, that's where I.
Easton Stick. Easton Stick.
That's a good guess, but that's not him.
Dang it. Dude, I was just thinking of guys that were back up for the Chargers.
No, that's
But Easton Stick's too young. He's
yeah.
like 30. No, he's younger than 30, so it couldn't
Okay,
have been him.
so
God, dude. Feels like a guy that's gonna be on like SEC now or whatever. I don't know.
I have no clue if he is. Let me try to. So you know that game where I say a name. Let's just say Tom Brady, and then the next guy's name has to start with Brady, and it's whatever you you
Yeah.
keep that chain going.
Yeah.
You could Jamar Chase, and then this guy.
Okay, so Chase, Dude, is it like Dolander? No, he's a
No,
kicker.
you
Chase Dolander's a kicker,
you
isn't he?
got the right initial. I will say this.
No, Chase Dolander's a baseball pitcher. I pulled that out right out of my ass. He's an MLB pitcher for the Rockies. Okay, so it starts with a D.
Yeah, it's Chase D.
Okay, I feel like Chase Daniel.
That's it. Chase Daniels
Okay,
is
bang.
their
I
all-time
was
leading
like,
passer.
I know that name, but probably because he was a backup in the
Yeah.
NFL for so long.
Okay.
Like,
And
I think
then
I remember seeing him on the Saints.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
that
he
I
did.
think about it, but okay, so Chase
Yeah,
Daniels.
so you have the top
Okay,
three, and these last two to me are the two hardest. One
you
was
think?
their quarterback, and when they made both of those SEC title games their first 2 years in the conference.
But what was when did they make the first one? When did they even join the SEC? Oh,
2012.
20, yeah, 2012. Okay, so 2012, 2013. I remember this guy because they had like the M with the tiger helmets, and they used to like wear like the yellow Mizzou jerseys. Like I remember that year because they also had that defensive tackle.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why I remember these teams. Crap, dude. I don't. My ball knowledge is bad for Missouri. I don't know. They just have like.
Well, yeah, I don't blame you. They're not really like the most SEC. I don't think they fit culturally, but that's a whole different can of worms. They don't have a like as well known extensive history to me. But
Okay, would they have been in the
I will
NFL?
give you a big hint with this guy. He
Yeah,
shares a name with a Big Ten coach.
Day.
No, like his first and last name are the exact same.
I don't even know all the Big Ten coaches
Uh,
unless it's like, especially if it's like Rutgers head coach.
no. You know who this guy is. We're gonna talk about his team later.
Dan Lanning.
No, they
We're gonna talk about his
they had a not so good game this past weekend.
James Franklin.
James Franklin is also
Oh,
a quarterback for the Missouri Tigers from 2010 to 2014.
okay. And then the last one, this guy played when the 1970s.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just kidding. He played from '02 to '05.
Did he have any stats in the NFL?
Actually, in the NFL, he swapped positions to wide receiver, and the only clip I've ever known about this guy is, have you seen that one Patrick, like this maybe in like those like here comes the boom hit stick compilation videos where Patrick Willis
Yeah,
just like murders that dude on the Jets and he goes limp.
I've seen the video. I could not tell you the guy's name.
Yeah, that's the okay. Let me try to bring this home because he has a. I'm not gonna lie, he has a very generic name.
Yeah, I figured.
Uh, I'm gonna go back to that name game thing.
Please, good lord, this was bad.
Yeah, but this is also a hard question to me because I couldn't tell you these guys either before, like putting it to like making this question. Um,
I'm gonna look up their coach to see if that gives me anything. Missouri football head coach. What was it? 2002 to 2005.
yep.
I don't even. I just felt like that one. Gary Pinkel. Oh, wait. He's like their oldest. Yeah, I do know Pinkel, but not because of '02 to '05. Because of 5 to 15, really, because that was when they were really good. But they were in the Big 12. They weren't good those years, were they?
Let me look up their records that year.
I don't want to look up anything else because I feel like that would give me too much of a hint. So,
You're good. School history. '02 to '05. Yeah, they have Their best season was 8-5. Their worst season was 5-6, or 5-7.
This guy's just not a good quarterback. No wonder he changed his name. I would have too.
Yeah, 56 field
Okay.
completion percentage, about 8,800 yards, 56 touchdowns. Okay, so I'll give you this because I can't think of a name to do the name game with. His first name's Brad, and he is one of the most generic last names you can think of.
Smith.
Yep.
Brad Smith.
Brad
I would have
Smith.
never gotten that. If you were asking me to list out a name of the widest names ever, I could have gotten that. But you asked me to name a Missouri passing leader. Would have never gotten Brad Smith. I got to know who this guy is. Brad Smith. Yeah, vice chair and president of Microsoft.
Yeah.
That is not who I'm talking about.
His best season in the NFL was 2010. He caught how many passes? Oh, that's right.
He's not even a white guy.
No.
Wow.
His best receiving season in the NFL
Yep.
was 2007, actually. I misspoke. And he had, if that little thing would go away, 325 receiving yards and any touchdowns for the man, and 2 scores. Oh, he was just a gadget player. He also ran the ball.
Yeah.
Shout out Brad Smith, I guess.
Okay. Well, we got over that hump. Sorry.
Yeah.
That is hopefully the longest we take this episode. That was bad.
Yeah, that.
Like,
I also gave a
I
hard
promise I know
question.
ball, guys. That's all.
I could give you.
I'm gonna give you an easy question, okay? When was the last time Auburn made a bowl game after giving up 30 or more sacks? Because that's what's gonna happen this year, except you won't make a bowl game.
I don't think Thorne got sacked that much in 2023. 2021, our line wasn't that good. Because Bo Nix was running for his life behind that the whole year. So I'm just going to rock with 2021.
Okay, 2021, they did only give up 22 sacks because Bo Nix was always running for his life. Yeah, there's only 22 sacks.
Okay. You just said made a bowl game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say when, I said made.
Yeah, I was supposed to say made. When, we'd have to go back a while. Not when made.
You really wouldn't, actually. I think y'all gave up 30 under Jarrett Stidham.
Oh, well, we didn't win the bowl game. No, we beat
That's
Purdue.
fair. Y'all lost to UCF. Yeah, but you did beat Purdue, so.
But 18, we have that many sacks.
No, you're too far back. You said this number. You said this year already.
I only said 2021. Am I stupid, or is it just 2020?
No, you said a year before. You said a year before that, and then said it wasn't been that year.
Was it one of the Stidham seasons then? So
nope. You're thinking too far back.
Oh, okay.
It's after 2020. So, and you already guessed a year after 2020. You didn't make a bowl game in 2022.
Was it 23?
Yes, you gave up 34 sacks, lost 178 yards, and you got blown out by Maryland.
Yeah, that was such an embarrassing watch.
It was awesome for me. Alabama just got done beating Liberty in basketball at the BJCC in Birmingham.
That's a huge experience for everyone.
And then I left and got to watch Auburn get blown out by Maryland. So roll tide. Okay, moving on. Let's get into this past weekend. We had Alabama versus Vanderbilt. Alabama brings it home 30-14. Kind of a revenge win. I'll just go ahead and say this. I think second half was much better than first half defensively. Offensively, we scored more points. We scored 16 more points, but we kicked a field goal we kicked a field goal or gave up the ball on every drive, it felt like. Actually, I think we scored a field goal on every single drive we had, except for the last drive we had, which we scored a touchdown. It's only one second half touchdown, which is scary because Last week at Georgia, we didn't score in the second half, and then this week we just had field goal after field goal after field goal. I think our run game looked a lot better this week. Passing the ball, Ty Setza continues to do what he did. Did have an interception. I will speak on that in just a second after I let you have your thoughts, but that interception was a little wonky and a little weird. I don't know if it was all his fault, but I'll give my thoughts on that in just a second. John, what do you think about this week versus Vanderbilt for Alabama?
I thought our second half defense was fantastic because Diego Pavia just looked like he was in hell the entire second half. I remember at one point the commentator said in his last 12 attempts, he was 3 for 12.
Yeah.
And considering like what he was doing last year against you, I think that's a great improvement from like a year-to-year matchup. And what you're saying preseason about the Alabama defense, if they keep playing like this, it's going to come to fruition. So
Yeah.
I was impressed by y'all's second half defense.
Yeah, I think I'll say this. Justin Jefferson got co-defensive player of the week this week for the SEC. And I remember the first half, I was talking about this all week. I should have mentioned this last week in the podcast and the recording last week. But if there was a guy that I needed to really step up this year and like actually play his position well, it needed to be our linebacker, Justin Jefferson. I think he is super speedy. He's one of the only linebackers we have that can keep stride for stride with a quarterback. I actually got to watch him do that last year in a scrimmage against Jalen Hurts, was keeping stride for stride with Jalen Hurts, which is very hard to do. And he's not been playing well this year. I think a lot of it, he's not been completely aware. And kind of in that first half, even though he got the strip, they would do. Vanderbilt was doing a lot of these rollout passes where they'd send their tight end in motion and would just do a rollout. And instead of staying back playing his zone, actually what he was doing was instead biting and trying to sack Diego Pavia, which allowed 6, 7, 8, 9 yards of play on those rollouts. And so that was very bad. But him stepping up in the second half, and I was just very impressed by Justin Jefferson. I really wanted him to step up this game. I think he did a great job of stepping up. I think defensively, everybody was just going at the ball. I felt like that was something we missed last year, was especially against Vanderbilt, was everybody was going after the ball. They beat us a couple times with the shovel pass, but I think they tried it like 4 times. They were only successful twice, and on one of those attempts, they only got like 8 yards, which was much better than last year's attempts. So I think defensively as a whole, we just grew a lot better. I mean, 9 rushing yards in the second half. Like you said, Diego Pavia is running for his life. I think, how many sacks did we end up getting? Pulled up, and then I clicked away. Defensively, we had 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. But, we were breaking up the ball a lot. I think, had 2 interceptions. Really, we had 3, but then a stupid defensive holding penalty got called that was absolutely outrageous. I cannot talk to you about how bad these refs were this game, to be honest with you. It was
more in the SEC.
very annoying. I was very ticked off in the SEC this week. I think, just say Ryan Williams had his head hunted, and somehow that got reversed from targeting, but
also,
what have you.
Also, welcome back, Ryan Williams. He finally looks
welcome back, Ryan Williams.
He also looks
he
like
still dropped the ball.
He thought he should be this entire year.
He did drop a ball this game. It was a pretty bad drop, but he was kind of diving for it.
Yeah.
I threw a little short, and it hit him in the shoulder instead of in the hands. He was also been short of the first down, but anyways, I think we played really good defensively. I think offensively, like you said, Ryan Williams is back. 16.3 yard. I mean, let me just talk to you about this. We had 5 guys, 5 receivers or tight ends, 1 tight end, 4 receivers, 1 tight end, with over 30 or more yards receiving this game. That's incredible. Like, that's what we need. I think Zay Horton looked really good. Ryan Williams, Jerm Bernard still looks great. Lots Brooks looked really, really good this game. Running the ball, I felt like we did a tremendous job of that. Caden Proctor also got the ball again, thank God. Hand it to him every game. But I just felt like we looked really good. Like I was saying, Ty's interception, that looked a little wonky. I don't know if there's some miscommunication there. It was like we lined up to kind of do the tush push move we play on third and short or fourth and short. And it was a play action pass. And Isaiah Horton was running the corner, and Cuevas was also running to the same exact corner for some reason. It was really weird. But during that play, I mean, I'm in the student section. This is towards the student section end zone. So, you should have a better view. And Cuevas turns in the middle of his route, looks confused, like steps the other way, and then comes back to the other side, looks again, and tries to let it go before he gets sacked. And he throws it right at the defense. So I don't know if that interception was completely Ty's fault, but yeah, I mean,
That just
like you
sounds
said,
like a
I think,
miscommunication offensively with
yeah,
receivers. So like
yeah,
you
I
can't
think
really put
so.
that much blame on him.
Yeah, but overall, just looked really good as a team. I think we played complementary football really well. I think even in the second half, like we started out with a 4 and out and then a 3 and out defensively, and that really set the tone. And then for the offense, they just held onto the ball, and I think that made, and we were just scoring every drive, and that kind of made Vanderbilt have to go away from the type of offense they like to run, and that gimmicky kind of, we're going to run the ball, we're going to do all these motions and get these short routes, and they're just going to run forever. Type offense they like to run with Diego Pavia, and I think really they were having to pass the ball downfield, and our defense just kind of shut that down and kind of got to him really quickly. So I felt like we played good. I felt like Vanderbilt looked like they were overmatched. I think Vanderbilt's a really good team, but even when they were kind of running this gimmicky offense, they still looked almost overmatched in a sense. Like we just had better athletes out there, which is, I think that Diego Pavia is not that good of a quarterback.
Yeah.
I know that people are going to hate on me for saying that. He does not have great vision. He has an awful throwing action. Like his throwing motion is horrendous.
Yeah, I was picking up on that too. I had that exact thought during this game.
Well, I thought that when I was actually at the New Mexico State Auburn game 3 years ago now, and I thought the same thing. I was like, how are they beating y'all? And I just remember watching him, and I was just like, this guy can't throw the ball. And then last year, they didn't really throw the ball on us. They just kind of did those like soft pitches. But all in all, I think Pavia just was overmatched this game. And I think if teams continue to overmatch him, this is what a Vanderbilt team is going to look like. And although I think that their head coach is a really good head coach and gets them motivated and can win by his schematics, I think that without Diego Pavia, we will really see what Vanderbilt's about under this regime. So, yeah, I think, but all in all, like, I think we did a good job of making their quarterback, making Diego Pavia, like, get out of his rhythm. And that's what we couldn't do last year. And so I think this year being able to do that was just very good. But yeah, props to them. I think they played a really tough game. I mean, they really had us down to the wire. But one other thing I want to touch on, and then we'll move on. I know that I'm just...
talk about too.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
First of all, welcome back, Jam Miller. Had his breakout. I don't want to say breakout, but like...
No,
I'm gonna call it his welcome,
this year.
This was game. His welcome back game.
Yeah,
with
I would say this year. This is the
6 yards.
Yeah,
and then
his and then a touchdown too. I mean, this is what I was going to talk about. But I would say
I have one more point real quick. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna cap off this rushing point really quick. It wasn't about what I was going to say.
Continue.
I would say that this was a like opening game for our rush. Like I feel like we'd struggled with that all year, and then finally, like we just kept going back to it. I think we knew that we could run the ball well, and finally, we kind of did that. And I think props to Ryan Grubb for not running away from it, and props to our offensive line and running backs to just continue to pound the ball and tire them out. So yeah. But I'll let you finish up with what you were saying.
Last week I was talking about being concerned with y'all's rushing defense, and I felt like besides that 65-yard touchdown run they had in, I want to say, their opening drive. Or
it was their opening drive. No, it was their opening drive. Yeah.
Well, after that, y'all held him to 71 rushing yards on 17 carries. So y'all, I mean, that's still only 4 yards a carry, but I think that's an improve. That's a step.
Really,
That's just to me a step in the right
eh,
direction from where y'all
yeah,
been previously throughout the year.
100%. But really, you could even go less than that because Diego Pavia later on in the first quarter had a 36-yard rush,
That
which
is
was
true.
really, like we call shot plays, we call long plays, like 30 or more yards. And I think if you mark that out
Yeah,
and look at besides those two mistakes, playing sound defensive football, like what does it go to then?
35
So yeah,
on
exactly.
on
And then
50.
9 yards in the second half. Exactly. So I think, I think they only got like past really in the red zone in the second half once or
Mhm.
twice, and one of those times they threw a interception. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think props to our defense played really really good. Um, the last thing I wanted to mention was I heard JD Pickell or Pickle, however you say it, kind of talk about this. Like Kalen DeBoer got here and everybody was looking at him like he was a soft guy, like he wasn't as intense as Saban. And
Mhm.
I'll say there were a couple of things that I saw this game that really just made that not true. One was like going off on the refs for some of the calls that were made, like the Ryan Williams targeting call that
Yeah.
they reversed. I just remember watching that replay, watching that. I actually said like watching that play unfold. I was like, that's got to be a targeting penalty gets thrown, and then they go back and reverse it. And some of the videos I was watching was the fact they reversed because the player did everything necessary to try and get out of the way, but couldn't. But I watched the play and I see the kind of the corner or the safety kind of lunge at Ryan Williams with his arms behind his back and still hit him in the back of the head. So, but that play, like Kalen DeBoer goes off on the refs, does it again. There was at one point a sideline worker got injured, and
Mhm.
so that's like a 3-minute timeout because they got to get him off the field. That guy's okay, by the way, but to get him off the field, our defense gets lined back up and is lined up really confused. So Kalen Bohr has a waste of timeout. It's the second half, and he's like yelling and screaming at Kane Womack because of the accountability we have there. But the last thing that I want to say about Kalen DeBoer about not being a nice guy, this guy's a maniac. Okay, Nick Saban would have never let his team score with less than 2 minutes to go.
Mhm.
Kalen DeBoer was laughing on the sideline and smiling when Jam Miller got that rushing touchdown with less than a minute to go.
It's a putaway
Like,
score.
if you're saying this man isn't built for the SEC, I think you're just dead wrong. I think he is. I think his recruiting shows that. We have four like top end recruits have shut down their recruiting these past 2 weeks, and three of them in the past week, in the past 3 days. So I think that DeBoer is meant for the SEC, and I think he's just proven that.
Yeah.
Now we move on. Like Missouri's going to be a tough matchup. They have a really explosive run game. How's our defense going to respond? Bo Perbula is a really good quarterback. How is our defense going to respond? Like obviously it's early kickoff, 11 a.m. Like we have to get out there, and I'll talk more on that later. But I think all in all, Alabama looks really good. Moving on, man. Talked about him earlier. Had a really, really tough game this week. Penn State versus UCLA.
Mhm.
UCLA wins at 42-37. Dude, Jerry Neuheisel, Rick Neuheisel's son, getting picked up and thrown around the interim offensive coordinator. I think we finally saw what we all expected from Nico going
100.
into Tennessee last year. Right? Like this is what we'd expected from Nico Iamaleava going into going into Tennessee last year, and he finally shows what he can do. 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, 17 for 24. They also ran the ball extremely well. They had 280 rush yards, 3 touchdowns there.
I want to throw
I
this out there real
think
quick.
defensively, yeah, go
130
ahead.
yards, and three of those scores were odds from Nico and Maliavo.
Yeah.
So he had
Nico finally
everything.
showed what he's about. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Nico finally showed what he's about. And then on the other end, I think Drew Aller didn't play like a bad game, but he also didn't play a great game. He had 200 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns, but like, how many times did he get sacked? Uh, only one sack. I think their defense just like shut him down. I think they just never got the ball. Um, Almost came back, but like Penn State are a bunch of frauds. They always have been. I've fought for this year after year. I mean, people were picking him to win the national championship. People were picking Drew Aller to win the Heisman, and like, didn't play that good. Like they don't every year.
I like this is how I've been with Drew Adler too. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's gonna take this next step and become this like I don't know about fantastic, but like he's gonna take the next step and
They
be
said
that
it.
like Heisman quarterback
They
or whatever." They've been saying this year after year after year.
5 years it
What
feels
he's saying,
like.
yeah. And this is just who he is as a prospect. He's not gonna. I think he's at his ceiling. He's not gonna, and especially with this coaching regime. Like he's not going to improve to take that next step. This is just who he is, and Penn State has to live with that.
NFL scouts are going to have to live with it, whoever's looking at them. But speaking of quarterbacks who have not lived up to their potential and coaches on the hot seat, Billy Napier. Billy Napier on the hot seat once again. I called it last week. I'll say I was happy about this one. I called this one last week. I said every time Napier gets in these hottest of hot seats situations, he wins. And what did he do against Texas? They won, and they won pretty handedly too. Arch Manning,
Did not look good.
man, he did not look good. I think we finally saw a little bit of DJ Lagway about what he can be.
Yeah.
Finally we see the Florida team that we always wanted to see. But also, I'll say this about Billy Napier: watching the end of that game, some of his play calls were absolutely horrendous. Still, anyway.
King of the hot seat.
Furthermore on that, yeah. Furthermore on that, Texas could not get to running the ball. I think that's what kind of saved them all year. Their defense and being able to run the ball. They had 52 yards rushing. Arch Manning only had 37 on 15 attempts, and like how many of those were sacks?
Give me like 2 seconds, and I'll tell you.
They had 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Florida had 6 sacks against Texas. So, yeah, I think now Texas and Penn State are unranked. I think Texas is a team that can come back and be ranked again. I think Sark will get his team together and get play calls and scheme up Arch Manning to play better. But there's definitely got to be questions about is Arch Manning going to be Texas starting quarterback A, the rest of the year, B, next year? I think if you're Texas, you kind of have to start looking for another quarterback to replace that spot next year because we've seen what he can not do. So yeah, I mean 2 interceptions. I think both the interceptions he had were pretty bad. But
yeah, I think he just needs to change the scenery and like I've I gotta get my thoughts together on this one. But I've seen people kind of talk about Arch, how we talk about Shedeur Sanders, where it's like the media just wants to hype up like him to a level that like no matter what he does, he's not gonna reach, and so that just like his with the expectations of a player like that, especially with the last name, like you're just setting them up to fail, and that's exactly what we're watching in real time. So I just think what'd be best for both Texas and him is if he joins a new team next year.
I mean, and this kind of goes back to like NFL being like or in college football being like NFL and free agency. But I saw somebody say this, and maybe this speaks to Ty Simpson, maybe it speaks to Arch Manning, but Joel Klatt, honestly, an Alabama hater. It feels like most of my life. Joel Klatt came out. If this guy's name was Ty Manning, he would be the front runner for the Heisman over with. It would have been in New York. But since Ty Simpson, he's not had any votes, and Arch Manning is still getting defended. So, yeah, I think I think last year there was a lot of Texas fans who were calling on Quinn Ewers being benched, and now we finally see why he wasn't.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I think they need to give out an apology to that man, personally.
I agree. So, moving on, we'll keep this not in the SEC, but in top 10. We'll go ahead and start with Ohio State and Minnesota. I said Ohio State would win 45-3. They ended up winning 42-3, so I was fairly close there. But yeah, just Ohio State continue to look good. Defense continues to look good. Not much more to say. Julian Sayin is they're finally letting Julian Sayin sling it, and he looks like the quarterback he was meant to be. So I'll say that. But
this Ohio State receiving core is freaking insane. Their two best receivers,
Yeah,
Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, 16 catches for about 240 yards and 3 scores alone. And you
good
still
thing.
have one, two,
Yeah.
three, four, and you still have like 5 total guys get in double digits for receiving. And they also ran the ball at pretty much at will with Bo Jackson. Still mad he's not an Auburn Tiger. Getting his work done. 63 carries, not carries, 63 yards, 5 yards a carry, and they're in one of their only rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. It just sucks that they have Ryan Day as their head coach and they're not going to win a national championship this year. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go back to this episode and say I called it when the.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. So Ohio State has a big rivalry in the Big Ten called the Game. Wisconsin versus Michigan. I was pretty high on Wisconsin. I thought that they could go in there and stop that Michigan run game, but finally we see Bryce Underwood able to throw the ball, and they win 24-10. Still only 14, but yeah. What are your thoughts there? I think
Why did we pick Wisconsin to
Wisconsin.
win this football game? That offense is
Yeah, I'll
so
say
bad.
why. I'll say why I thought so. It's because of how good they stopped our run
Mm-hmm.
offense. They really stopped our run offense. I was like, okay, maybe their defense is going to like hold them. Yeah, they did not. 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. Justice Haynes, 117 yards himself with both of those touchdowns. And then Bryce Underwood, 270 passing yards, a touchdown. Um, yeah,
That was
we ended up at
like
4-4 for our picks this week. We were pretty bad this week, so we apologize for that, man.
it's improvement from last week for me, so going in the right way.
Yeah, I'm spiraling down. So, okay, moving on. We'll talk about Notre Dame, Boise State. Not much to say there. Notre Dame came out. I mean, they were down 6-0 early, but then came out and won. Yeah, I think Notre Dame is a legit team. I think they had two pretty bad losses or two pretty good teams that they lost against. But I like Marcus Freeman. I like what he's doing there, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see them back in playoff contention. They don't play another ranked team for the rest of the year, so kind of if they can just hold on for the rest of the year, I think they can win. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, even though Boise State kind of dominated the time of possession, it just that didn't matter in this case. And
yeah.
Maddox Madison, 4 interceptions. I think this is kind of like going back to what you were saying about Auburn and not Auburn, sorry, Alabama and Vanderbilt. Like Notre Dame just straight up outclasses them, and they proved it.
Yeah. 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 Next, we'll talk about another team, about why did we pick them, Louisville versus Virginia. Why did we both pick Louisville? I had Louisville because I thought Virginia was going to be high on that, still high on the FSU win.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, it did go to overtime, right? Like Virginia only won. Oh, wait.
By 3.
Hold up. Yeah, 27-30.
30.
So,
I picked Louisville because I mean I thought they'd also be kind of riding high after that game, and then also against Florida State, they threw like I want to say I don't know this off the top of my head. I want to say 3 interceptions, and that's just not winning football, even though they got the job done. So I thought like you can't go into this game playing like that, and I mean Chandler Morris cleaned it up. He threw one touchdown but no interceptions against them, so. I think that was enough to get them to the win in this game.
they had 2 touchdowns and still won this game somehow.
They had 2
Which,
touchdowns and scored 30 points, which is insane to me.
yeah, it's crazy. Look at their kicker. He only had 1 field goal.
So they score a touchdown, punt, and to have
Hold up. Oh, they had a pick six,
pick 6. Okay.
and they have no. Okay,
Okay, so 2 offensive touchdowns.
yeah, 2 offensive touchdowns and a.
They opened the game up with a scoop and score.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. They did have a Dang, so they had 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 offensive touchdowns,
Okay,
and that's how they won the
makes
game.
so much more
Okay,
sense. Oh my
that
god.
makes so much more sense. Okay, sorry, we're just stat watching, but
Yeah,
yeah, we're not
we're
real fans,
frauds.
guys. We hate football. We're frauds.
Yeah,
No, Miller Moss, 34 for 48. Golly, they throw the ball a lot, and
yep.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. Pretty good ACC game. Whatever. Um, okay, let's move on to the real conference, the SEC. We already talked about Florida and Texas. Let's go ahead and talk about Mississippi State and Texas A&M. I think we were both really high on Mississippi State. Texas A&M not being able to stop the run much, and they did the complete opposite and blew Mississippi State out of the water. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that game?
I'm looking at Mississippi State's rushing stats right now, and A&M got to the quarterback. 4 sacks. He had negative 36 rush yards. Blake, is it Shapen?
Yeah, Blake
Sorry
Shapen.
if I mispronounced. I don't know how to pronounce it. So I mean, they were running the ball outside of that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I don't know.
without the sacks, that's
Yeah,
only
that's
about 100
fair.
yards on the game, but that's just not enough to get it done. Because
They also didn't have a rushing score.
yeah,
Texas A&M looks great offensively. I think Marcel Reed, honestly, did not impress me that much. Somebody still had 2 passing touchdowns, but 13 for 23, 180 yards and an interception. 2 rushing touchdowns as well, one of those being his, and then Mario Craver having one. But I'll be honest, like I'm not that impressed by Marcel Reed. I wasn't last week against Auburn, and I'm not this week against Texas A&M. I think their running game is really good. I think Ruben Owens having 142 yards carries that offense.
no.
I
What
think,
really carries this team for me is the defense.
yeah,
Another
the defense is so
defensive
good. Yeah,
masterclass. Last week against Auburn, they didn't allow a single third down conversion. This week, they forced Mississippi State to be 1-10.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's a great
That's
win for
insane.
them.
I'm just looking at the rest of their schedule. I wonder who they're going to lose to. Because they got to lose 3 games at least. So
Um,
I guess Florida, Missouri, South
Texas.
Carolina. Nah, LSU, if anybody.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're still going
They
to
got to
go.
figure out 9-3 and 8-4 somehow. From this, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
It'll get there.
yeah. Not even worried about it. All right, and last but not least, we go to the ACC again. We'll talk about Miami versus FSU. John, great pick. That ends you at 4-4, and it also takes me to 4-4. I had FSU winning this game. I thought they would bounce back. Thought that they would prove that they're not the same FSU team, but they actually did the opposite. Their offense got completely obliterated in the first half. Now, obviously, came back out and scored in the second half, but just wasn't enough for the win. And Miami still looks really, really good. Are they the number 1 team in the nation?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think this team really could go all the way. Right now, I feel like there's about 3 or 4 of those teams that you could say that about, though.
Yeah,
But
I would say Ohio State still, but
yeah, it's like for me, Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, and I'm blanking on the 4th, so I guess 3 off the dome. But a big reason I wanted to pick Miami is because their run defense has been just amazing all year long, and Florida State's offense, has also been solid. So I just one had to beat the other. I mean, Florida State still ran it it's because they ran it 38 times, but they got 132
yeah,
yards. So, they were still moving the ball, but at only 3.5 yards a carry. I think that's
and no
and
touchdowns.
no rushing touchdown. So I think that really just does show how good this Miami defense is against high-powered Gus Malzahn offense.
I mean, you could say the same thing about their offense. Carson Beck, 241 yards, 4 touchdowns,
I mean,
no interceptions.
could he also
Mr.
be in
Beck,
New
I
York
apologize.
in December?
I apologize, Mr. Beck. No, he won't be there. It's Miami.
Yeah, they're gonna fall
They'll
off
fall
the
off
cliff. I
soon.
mean,
So,
how he's playing
yeah,
through how many games have they played? 5. He's looking.
5. Yeah,
I think he's looking pretty
a pretty good
solid.
game. Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on to this week. Let's talk about it. Ohio State taking on Illinois. Ohio State is favored by
16.5.
16.5.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's going to take this game. Um, I would say they win by more than 16.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to come back to bite me in the butt, but give me Ohio State 49-14.
Ooh, I don't think it's gonna be that big, but I think Ohio
Uh,
State A covers and B the over hits for the entire game because it's 48 and a half. But I think it's gonna be 38-21 Ohio State. Wait, that's not. Is that covering? Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
17.
50. Yeah, well, yeah, covering the, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I picked them to win this big because Illinois barely beat USC, got blown up by Indiana. Speaking of Indiana, let's go to it. Number 3, Oregon. Number 3, Oregon taking on number 7, Indiana. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to talk about in just a second. I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, first of all, game day is coming here this weekend. Just want to throw that out there, and I just want to rock with Oregon. And we were talking about this before we started recording, and I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be as what's the word I'm looking for here, bold with my prediction, but I think Oregon wins by about 14, just because, like we were saying with Notre Dame, Boise State, like we were saying with Alabama, Vanderbilt, I just think Oregon just outclasses them roster wise. So I think it's going to be 35-21 Oregon.
Yeah, I have my thinking suspicion is that Dan Lanning is going to get his team together and they're going to rally and blow out Indiana, kind of like we saw Indiana. What happened to Indiana last year against Ohio State. Now, I'm not going to make that my prediction because the last time I thought a team was going to blow somebody out, my team got beat. So I'm going to pick Oregon to win this one 24-23, a close one in overtime. I think what happens is we go to the first overtime and it's 17-17. Oregon scores first. They kick the field goal. Indiana comes out and they're like, we got to win this game. We're going for 2.
Mm-hmm.
They lose it. So that is what I think. But I think all in all, it'll be a close game. Now, let's talk about it. Michigan, we'll stay in the Big Ten here. Michigan versus USC. What do you got and why?
I may be leaning into this a little too much. I'm not going to lie. But, like, going across the country really, like, is brutal on the team, I feel like. Because, I mean, we saw it with Penn State, UCLA. Like, they looked horrible. So I think I am leaning into it a little too much. But I think USC can do enough to make Michigan play from behind. And I still just don't trust this Michigan offense to play from behind. So I think they can sneak out like a 28-24 win.
USC,
Yeah.
taking them. I will say this. USC had a chance to prove something to me earlier this year when Illinois went to USC and took them on.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois still won that game. And yes, it was a close game, but I really felt like Illinois had that game under control. I don't think Lincoln Riley's that great of a coach. And I'll say this. I think Michigan did enough to prove to me that this offense is ready to go. Just to say, and USC's defense is not that good, for being honest. And I think Michigan takes this one 31-21. I think their defense is going to do enough to stop this Lincoln Riley offense, even traveling that far. I don't think they're going to make the same mistakes that James Franklin made or the same excuses. So, yeah, give me Michigan in this one. I think Michigan actually goes up fairly early. They're going to be up 21-0, and then USC will come and score, 21 in the second half. But Michigan scores 10 in the second half to keep this one going. And yeah, give me Michigan. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and move to the Big 12. We'll go to Iowa State versus Colorado. Man, Colorado, dude, they are falling off of a cliff. I know that I was not very high on the prime hire. I like Dion, but I just don't think he fits college.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's kind of proven. Lost a close one to TCU, which I thought this TCU team was actually going to blow them out, in my opinion, but they didn't. Iowa State coming off of a loss against Cincinnati. Cincinnati could be a real contender for the Big 12 championship.
I agree.
Who do you got?
I'm rocking with Iowa State because I'm with you. I'm not high on Deion Sanders at all. And because of that, and also I just don't think Caden Salter is that good of a quarterback either.
They've started all three of their quarterbacks. Don't forget about that. They've started all three of their quarterbacks.
And there's a saying when you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. So if you start three quarterbacks, I don't even know what to tell you.
You got just running backs at that point.
Yep. So I don't know how ugly it could get, but I'm going Iowa State 35-17.
We have a pretty similar score. I'm going to go ahead and take Iowa State. I think they'll bounce back. I think Rocco Beck does enough to get it done. I think they win 24-10. Iowa State's offense has not really impressed me that much. I don't think they will this week either, but we haven't seen Colorado really win close games. So, yeah, go ahead and give me Iowa State 24-10. Next we probably have, the number one team in Big 12 right now. I think the team to beat in the Big 12, Texas Tech taking on Kansas, the Jayhawks at Kansas. I'll go ahead and say that while you're adjusting something.
Yeah, sorry, my laptop's about to die. I'm getting my charger.
Got to keep it going. The show must go on. I think Texas Tech, I think their offense comes out and just kind of blows them out of the water. I think they win 45-10. I don't think Kansas has enough to get it done.
I don't think so either. All right, we're back. Sorry about that.
Hey, we're back, department. I'd like to file a claim.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm rocking with Texas Tech too. I just think they have by far the best roster in the conference this year. They're doing everything at such a high level. And Jalen Daniels for Kansas is finally kind of showing what we thought he would be going into last season. He's been fantastic all year. But I don't think it matters. I just think Texas Tech's defense, like you said, is probably going to shut them down. So I'm going Tech 45-17.
We only are different by 7 points. Keeping it in the Big 12, we got a few more Big 12 teams to go. We'll take first Arizona State versus Utah. I think Utah was a team everybody kind of was like, everybody chose them to beat Texas Tech. And now they're unranked. But I don't think Arizona State should be ranked because they got beat by Mississippi State, who should be ranked. Got out Jeff Levy. Yep. But I think Utah gets it done this game. I think Utah wins. I think Devon Dampier will do enough to get it done. I think they'll win 31-21. My second 31-21 score this week.
So I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think I am rocking with Utah too. But I think it's going to be fairly high scoring. So, but like you said, I think Utah can just do enough to get it done. So give me Utah 45, Arizona State 38.
That's literally what I wrote down for you before you said anything. I was like, he's definitely going to say 45-38 because when you said high scoring. All right. This is our last one for the Big 12. BYU taking on Arizona. Everybody's impressed by BYU for beating West Virginia. They kind of stay undefeated. Or not. Yeah, I think they're undefeated. They're now number 23. They beat West Virginia by 14. They beat Colorado by 3. And yeah, they beat Stanford by 24, but that Stanford team is just not good. I like Arizona here. Give me the Wildcats in a close one, 24-21.
Okay, well, I'm going with BYU here because I'm looking at Arizona State and I haven't been super moved by anything they've done this year.
Arizona State, Arizona.
My fault. I'm still in Arizona State. But I still mean that about Arizona. I was looking up their schedule. I just got the teams confused, apparently. So I want to rock with BYU here, and I think they get it done in a close game, 21-24. Give me the Cougars.
Okay, so we have the same score, just different teams. All right, I like that. It's going to be a really good game, and Arizona's going to win. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, next we'll take on the ACC. Pittsburgh versus FSU. I just saw a clip before this about Mike Norvell saying that when they beat Alabama, they weren't a good team. But now, when Alabama, after the loss, has become a good team, and that Florida State's not that good because they have these 2 losses. Yeah, Florida State, you're not that good. Thank you for waking up, Alabama. Thank you for giving me playoff hopes back. You're going to lose to Pittsburgh. This team's not coming back. Mike Norvell, you're a fraud. Give me Pittsburgh, 31-20. As long as they could stop this FSU offense. So give me Pitt.
Okay, well, I'm picking it against you. Okay, screw you, I guess.
Good. I don't care. I'm
Give
just tired
me,
of Mike Norvell.
No, that's fine. I low-key think he's a fraud too. But I just think they're better than Pitt. And they're at home. So, Florida State, I think it's going to be close to 20. Oh, no, you said 11-point game. Give me Florida State 24-21. Is that my back-to-back 24-21? That's lame. 24-17.
Thank you. Let me say, let me go further on this. Why do I think that Pittsburgh can beat FSU? It's not just because Mike Norvell's a fraud. It's not just because Tommy Castellanos not that good of a quarterback, but he played exceptionally well against our defense. It's not because this is the reason why, actually. It's because Gus Malzahn fails every year. He can't keep the offense going. He failed last week. They got stopped by Miami. They're going to continue that train, and they're going to lose this game. I said it there. Gus Malzahn may be the next head coach at Arkansas, but he's not going to get it done at FSU. I think FSU is just going to keep dwindling out. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Moving on, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech Hokies taking on Wreckham Tech, Georgia Tech. Oh, my bad. Did you want to say something?
No, I was gonna. I mean, after you finished your rant, I was just gonna move on to this game.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and Wreckham Tech, Georgia Tech taking on Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech's kind of started to fall, kind of started to fail, but I think they had a bye week this week.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, they've only played 5 games, so yeah.
Yeah, and the week before. Yeah, they had a week before. Yep. I think Brent Key got his guys together. I think they come out and win this game, and I don't think it's close. Virginia Tech, not that good. I mean, I had to fire their coach at the beginning of the season. Give me Georgia Tech 34-10.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Tech wins big because, I mean, there's a reason Tech fired their... I mean, not the other Tech, Virginia Tech, fired their coach.
Yeah.
And they're coming off the bye, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I think Tech also wins big, 38 to... Wait, 45 13. 45-13. I don't want to do the same score we were doing.
Okay. All right, we'll take this one back to the SEC. Arkansas taking on Tennessee. Arkansas, their second week without. Well, they didn't play this week without. So this is technically their first game without Sam Pittman and with. Why am I blanking on the
Bobby Petrino?
Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino. Something in my gut has me taking Arkansas. They did it last year.
Is it the fact that the other team is Tennessee?
It may be the fact the other team's Tennessee, but Tennessee lost to them last year. It may be the fact that Bobby Petrino's back, and I think this offense is finally going to fire on all cylinders. I think they have a really good quarterback. I just think he hasn't been utilized well. Yeah. But Bobby Petrino has been their offensive coordinator all season, and Tennessee's looked really, really good. And Arkansas's defense has not been that good either. I'm going to go with my brain and not my gut this time. Give me Tennessee winning big, 45-7. I hate picking Tennessee. That hurts.
I mean, that's how I feel about picking Bama, so I feel you. Anyway, so...
Alexa, stop. Alexa just went off in my ear.
Oh, you're good. I also think Tennessee wins big. I just don't think Arkansas is that good, and, I want to believe in Bobby Petrino to get this offense going, but like you said, he's been the offensive coordinator all year, and it still looks like this. So I think Tennessee also wins big. I think they also score 45 points, but I think they allow more than 7. I think Arkansas will put up 17. So 45-17, Rocky Top.
Rocky Top, Rocky Top. That's how I feel right now.
Well, you willingly said that, and I just recorded it and put it in the soundboard.
I hate that. I hate that song. Hate that song. All right, next we have the Red River Showdown. Texas is actually favored in this game. John Mateer down. John, go ahead and give me your thoughts.
It makes it interesting with Mateer being out, because if he was playing, I would have picked Oklahoma in a landslide. But I'm still rocking with Oklahoma. I just don't think it will be like in a landslide. So give me the Sooners to win this game. I think it'll be one possession, 28-24 OU.
28-24 OU. Well, if Mateer's on this team, I'd say give me OU, just like you. I wouldn't say it's a landslide because I think Texas defense can play really well.
No, I
I
agree.
think that
I just think our
Sark
offense
is,
horrible right now. So I just can't willingly put that in.
but also like Oklahoma's offense was getting stopped against y'all. So I also have to take that into account. And I'll say this: I think Texas is going to come back. I think Sark's going to scheme his guys well, and I think Arch Manning finally shows us something. Not a lot, shows us something. I think he gets 2 touchdowns. I think it's 17-10 Texas. We're rocking with the Longhorns this week.
Word.
Keeping it in Texas and keeping it with the team that beat Texas last week, we have Florida taking on Texas A&M at Kyle Field. Billy Napier still in the hot seat. Will he get it done this week? What do you think?
Oh, crap. Give me a second. I'm looking at something.
Well, I'll go ahead and give you my thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be close. I do think their defense gets stops, but I don't think their offense scores. I think it's going to be 21-3 Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think Texas Texas A&M wins big. And, I mean, Florida's run defense. Oh, wait, this is offensive rush stats. I was trying to look at defensive. Florida, that's total yards. Sorry, I cannot read today, guys. My fault. Florida's been in the middle of the pack in the SEC in rush defense, and as we have seen in SEC play, Texas A&M can run the crap out of this football. So I think they run it all over Florida. I think they control the time of possession, and because of that, it's going to be... I think it's going to be not a super high-scoring game. Give me the Aggies 24-10.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very similar
Yeah.
score there. All right. Once again, going to keep it in the SEC. South Carolina, USC Junior taking on LSU. South Carolina's just not proved a lot this year. But neither has Brian Kelly. Give me Sandstorm. Give me the Gamecocks. Lenore Sellers been out game this year, 24-10. South Carolina. John?
Hi. You coming back down to earth? You good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay.
I don't like Brian Kelly either.
Yeah, I don't like
Can't
Brian
do
Kelly. Like, I thought they were going to look it up to that Clemson win, but that win just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So I'm just not moved by that win. And I think Lenore Sellers also, like, shows why people thought he'd be a preseason Heisman favorite. And puts him out and wins this game for them. Give me the Cox 28-13.
You're supposed to pick LSU, dude. We had this in the production meeting. Come on, what are you doing?
What are you talking about? Production meeting.
You're supposed to pick Tigers. All right, well, moving on to the worst Tigers. Georgia coming into Jordan Hare. Last time Auburn beat Georgia was 2017. They stopped Georgia from running the ball to 58 yards. That was a Nick Chubb and Sony Michel rushing attack. Can Auburn do the same thing this year? Can they stop the rush attack of the Georgia offense? I think that is what's going to keep Georgia in this game. I think that is what leads Georgia to the win. I think Gunnar Stockton does enough to get it done. And I think Auburn is going to get sacked a lot this week. I think UGA blows this one out 45-10. UGA.
Yeah.
Give me the Dogs.
I think Georgia wins too, and I think our offensive line continues to struggle, and
Could this be Hugh Freeze's last game?
There's just not much to say about this Auburn team offensively. Like it's just pathetic. And unless like Arnold magically turns into like what freaking Auburn fans are hyping him up to be this offseason, which he's not, shocker. I just think it gets ugly, and I think it gets ugly fast. 13. Auburn scores 13. Georgia 35-13 UGA. And they just looking to control the entire game.
Now, the reason why I could see Georgia losing this game is I remember a couple years ago, Auburn kept it close.
Yeah, in 23.
In 2023, Auburn kept it close.
Yeah.
But there's a man on that Georgia team whose name was Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
He somehow was magically found open every play. If y'all could have just covered Brock Bowers, I think y'all could have won that game.
Oh, 100% agree.
But I think this one's going to be a little bit further apart.
On him and they just fell apart.
All right, moving on. We'll talk about the SEC Nation game of the week. Alabama traveling to Columbia, Missouri, taking on the Mizzou Tigers. I'll let you give your thoughts first.
You know what, Kyle? I feel like these past few weeks, I've just been hyping up Alabama and just like really putting down Auburn. And I mean, first of all, Auburn deserves it, but that's a whole different can of worms. And I'm just tired, and as an Auburn fan, of doing that. So I'm rolling with the freaking Tigers. Give me Missouri. Bo Prabula shows why Penn State should have chose him over Drew Aller, and he has a game and beats Bama 28-24.
I guess you've not seen our pass defense, have you?
No, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of picking Alabama, so I'm rocking with Missouri.
I think Missouri has a killer run game. I don't think Bo Prabula is the reason Missouri wins this game, if at all. I think if anything, it's their run game. But I think, like you said, Alabama's run defense took another step this week. Looked really, really good against Vandy. I think they're going to continue that this week against Missouri. I think they're going to plug holes better with Tim Keenan being back. I mean, he played so well this week, I think, on a fumble recovery. Really just plugged the gaps that he needed to do. I think James Smith being back all game is going to help us out. London Simmons, also the true freshman, looked really good. I think he's going to keep looking good. Our linebackers are going to keep looking really good. And I think we're going to have to make them throw the ball. And I think that's when we can get really dangerous defensively. And so I think we win this one 28-17. I think Ty Simpson continues to show why he needs to be the Heisman candidate. I think Jam Miller continues to improve. I think our offensive line continues to improve. I think Ryan Williams shows why he's meant to be here. 11 a.m. kickoffs are not fun, but I think we controlled the last 11 a.m. kickoff we had really well against Wisconsin, and so I'm excited. So, yeah, give me Alabama 28-17. This has been another edition of Rivals in the Booth. A little new this week because of the video, but it was great to see you guys this week. Great to see you, John, as always. Roll Tide.
War Eagle.
We'll see you guys next week.